Hello guys, today I'm looking at Tales of Symphonia. Yes, Tales, the very long-running RPG series. I had no idea how extensive it was. I remember back in the day, Lloyd was one of the more requested characters for Super Smash Brothers, and so because of that, I was just very interested. I heard a lot about Symphonia. I thought, oh well, hell, I might as well check it out. And yeah, it's a pretty good, very lengthy RPG. Probably one of the longer ones I've probably played. Something that really stands out to me for this game that I really enjoy for the time is that it was completely multiplayer. If you had four different players in your party besides the main guy who's doing the in-quest, in-game stuff, once you enter a battle, every character can basically, fight. And so playing this game with multiple people is a lot of fun, actually. As much as I kind of enjoyed this game, I also how would I say this? I didn't. It's kind of odd to describe, but my main issue is that the story is kind of just not all over the place, but like I would just never know what I was doing, and so every time we started up the game, and I have to like watch a cutscene or a flashback or like the journal or the log to figure out, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we here? What's going on, what's this part. And of course, as I played other Tales of games, I realized they're also almost the same kind of story. So for example, in this one, Lloyd Irving and Genus Rain and who are half elves live in this little village, and there's this girl called Colette who has this magical power, and you basically have to protect her because she can solve all the problems in the world and all this stuff. And Lloyd was raised by a dwarf, and so you get to know a lot of these characters and their kind of world. What is really nice about this game actually is the voice acting. It's very earnest, very genuine, and there's just honestly a lot of it. There's obviously a lot of cutscenes in the in-game world where the characters are just talking with no dialogue, but there's a lot of voice lines in this game, and I think that's what made it stand out to so many people. Similar to Final Fantasy VII, the map works the same way. You'll kind of walk around this giant overworld where you are a giant sprite yourself, and you get different kinds of vehicles and airships and whatever to traverse the land. And the basic gist is that the land is basically dying because there's this Tower of Mana or Tower of Salvation. And essentially, your world is basically drawing energy from the other world and basically killing it, and or vice versa. And so you basically have to travel between these two dimensions and basically solve the problem. Again, I think what's really strong about the Tales of games are the characters themselves. Lloyd is a really cool character. Genus and Rain are very charming in their own way. Colette is a lot of fun. I'd say there's also Kratos, not to get him confused with the other guy, which I found very funny. I would say the only character I didn't really like in this game was Regal, simply because he just shows up near the end, and his main thing is that he's a fist fighter with his hands that are always cuffed. And he just kind of is the strong silent guy, and so he doesn't really get a lot of screen time, so he doesn't really get a chance to really develop, but he's part of the squad themselves. Again, this game has a lot of cutscenes, a lot of dialogue, and there's a certain point where I was very much almost, I think, fed up with it. My only real issue with this game is that it's just simply way too long. I think it was shorter and more focused. The characters would, have the same amount of screen time. I just felt it would have been better, honestly, in that sense. Again, I understand this is a fairly good RPG, but to me, this doesn't feel like a legendary epic RPG. Like this is the best game of the series. I mean, I wouldn't know. I haven't played all of them, but if this is the peak of the Tales of series, it's not super impressive in my view. It's very much a good/okay game. Again, there's also weird mechanics in here. Like I think you can actually cook meals. And so you basically preload ingredients, and then post game you can try to cook, a meal that will give the party a boost. And it's really funny when you see them fail at certain things or whatever. This game also has a very distinct anime style aesthetic. In the cutscenes or in certain dialogues, it'll show you different sort of displays and art directions for what the characters actually look like in a more anime art style, and they're very endearing, very expressive, and I'd say the writing for the characters is really the strongest part of this game. Sadly, I think almost every other component of the game is just very, like, not great. The gameplay is pretty good. You're going to hear Sonic Fang, or rather Demon Fang, for like a million times, and you kind of use the same moves that just work over and over again. It is interesting though for the way the system works is that you can learn different abilities and upgrade certain abilities. And for Lloyd, you for every character actually, you basically map every special move to the B button, while the A button is reserved for basically physical attacks. And as you upgrade and buy better gear, of course, your physical attack will go up, and as you level up. And your special attacks that require mana are shipped to B and the C stick. So you have 4 directions plus neutral B to basically activate those. And so, honestly, there are a lot of moves that each character gets, and it's kind of hard to choose between them. And so, of course, there's some, empire that invades and blah, 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 blah. And again, I don't really remember the story of this game super well, except Colette is the savior. You have to get her to the tower and, like, reverse the curse, basically. And you go to a lot of different locations and venues, and you meet a lot of different characters. But as to how memorable the game is versus how long it is, I don't know, it's not great. And, the only thing that I remember is, like, at the end of the game, you have this giant tree, which is like Yggdrasil or something equivalent. There's always a giant tree in these games that, again, is that a secret of mana thing? And, I don't know. But that basically heals the world, and the mana flows back into everything, and everything's honky-dory. We're all good. So yeah, that's the one kind of issue. The plot in this game feels very kind of slow. It feels like it really takes a long while for things to get ready and to get going. And when things do start to get going, you're like, wait, what are we doing this here? We're looking for this clue, which leads us to this clue, which leads us to this. Oh, right, of course. So again, I'm really conflicted on how I feel about this game, because I've played it, I beat it, but I honestly didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed their, like, little, like, mannerisms and everything. I love the fact that when Genus, casts Earthquake, he says pancake time. Just like just like dumb things like that. Like, the characters in this game are wonderful. They're so much fun. They have a lot of expressive, moments. They have a lot of different alternative costumes that you can get. Lots of really cool, fun stuff. But again, to me, this game does not say masterpiece or, like, amazing or, like, best RPG of its time. It's just okay. And for all that, I think this is only really popular because this is one of the main RPGs on the GameCube. I don't know. It's okay. Again, not super amazing, but I guess it was okay. I wish I could say something better about it, but yeah, there it is.